Hey everybody, it's Peter. Today is Thursday, July 14th, 2016. Haven't posted a video in a while, so I wanted to share today's chart, post trading chart analysis with you folks. I do this every day. I make a video of my trades. I do a markup of my trades, and I just save it on my hard drive. Um, I guess it's the laziness in me and not wanting to upload to YouTube, and sometimes it takes a little while. But today was a really good day, so I really wanted to share this with everyone or anyone that watches. Um, Took a total of 6 trades today, 438 ticks of profit, and it was done before 10 a.m., which hardly ever happens. So really good day. Um, I did do a markup here. Again, this is for my trading journal, so whenever I look back at my trades, I know exactly what I did, why I took it. In addition to the video where I review other entries, and it helps me see these, uh, when I look back, but it also helps me know what to look for in real time as this price action is developing. So it's the main reason why I do this every day. It's a continuous process of learning and perfecting um, the craft, so to speak. So let me go ahead and just break these down real quick. First trade I took here, um, 4 contracts, and all my profit targets hit. So this one hit for 22 ticks. The second trade was right up here. Again, 4 contracts short. All profit targets were hit for 22 ticks of total profit on this trade entry. And then the next one, the third trade of the day, was right here, 4 contracts short, and this one hit all its profit targets for another 22 ticks of profit. And then there was this series of 3 trades here, which was kind of unique. It's something I don't normally do, but by the time that this trade concluded, I'd established this trend line, and I kept seeing long entries fail, so I kept taking short entries and adding on from. So this was the first one. I took profit on half my position, added on the second one, and then what I did was I took profit on half my position of the second one and the remaining position on the first one, and then added on here, did the same thing, took profit once I entered, and I took profit on half my position of the third trade with the remaining position of the second trade, and then this one actually ended up hitting all its normal targets because I didn't add on a 4th contract at that, or 4th trade at that point. But that series of 3 produced a total of 72 ticks of profit. With the other 3 trades that I took, 22 ticks each, that gave me 130 ticks of profit for the day. I was done way before 10 a.m. So, well, not way before, but shortly before 10 a.m. And really good day. But let me go ahead and go over each of the trades, what I saw, why I took them. So just to remind people, what I normally do is when I come in the morning, I mark up what I see from the overnight moves. I try to establish a high and a low, just so I know what kind of day I'm dealing with. We got a strong move up with a consolidation and then another push. So I really thought we were going to go high. We were going to just continue pushing up for the remainder of the day. I was expecting a pullback and a correction, but then I thought we were going to shoot up. I don't normally let my bias affect my trading, so it was just what I was preparing myself for. I always go by what the chart shows me for my entries, but I really thought we were going to get a measured move up from this move here, which would have put us probably right at maybe close to 2186 or so, somewhere around there, 2184, 2186. So I mean, ES has been pushing some historic highs, um, like you wouldn't believe. So, hey, at this point, anything's possible. So once I did that, I pretty much drew these lines here. I had not established this trading range yet. So I had a strong move up, some consolidation, a little trading, a minor trading range, and then another move up, and then we had this pullback, and then this is kind of where I came in right as this pullback was kind of concluding. And I noticed we had a double bottom going. So you had a bottom here, a low here, a low here. This is kind of an overshoot, but so I guess you can call this a micro double bottom, so to speak. But what I did when once I saw this real nice bullish bar, I put an order one tick above it. Took it long. 4 contracts. My normal profit targets of 2 off at 4, 1 off at 6, 1 off at 8. So they gave me 22 ticks of profit. This was a real tight trend. So I drew a line right along the lows of it, or the opens of this. Then we get a close outside of the trend, and then a new high here. And then with this bearish bar, I just put an entry 1 tick below, and I took it down. So that's one of the things I look for. Anytime we get a close outside of the trend, a new high, and then a nice bearish reversal bar. That's usually works out for a good trade for me. 4 contracts short, 2 off at 4, 1 at 6, 1 at 8. Gave me 22 ticks of profit. We get a nice bounce here at the EMA. It pulls up and fails to go higher or retest this high. So when you get this closed down, again a push back up, and then this one where it opens on its high and closes near its low. I took a chance on this one. It was a little bit of an aggressive trade. I put an order right at the low of this bar here. Got in on the retrace, and it took me into Profitville. 4 contracts short, 2 off at 4, 1 at 6, 1 at 8. This ended up being a nice trade. And by the time this trade concluded, I pretty much had this trend line established. I tightened it up along the highs of these 2 bars here. It just seemed to fit really well, especially when this trade presented itself. So what I'm looking at here is I have a high. You get a pullback, you get a first entry long, a pullback, second entry long, that fails. So what I mean by fail, it fails to continue higher. So what I did was I put an order right 1 tick below. I think that's where I entered. 1 tick below. Yeah, one tick below the low. And 4 contracts short. And then again, this trend line was holding really well. So now, since this second entry long failed, this is my new high for me. And then you get a high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long. That one fails as well. So I'm still in this trade. I take 2 off at 4 ticks. I see this setup. I put an entry right at the low of this bar here. I believe that's where I got in on that. Let's see, on the second trade entered 1 tick, yeah, 1 tick below the low of the signal bar actually, so 1 tick below here. But what I did was I adjusted my profit target on the remaining contracts of this trade to coincide with the profit target for the first 2 contracts of this trade. So would have been 4 ticks for this trade. It ended up being 9 ticks of profit on those 2 remaining contracts for this trade. So on this particular trade, I got 2 off at 4, 2 off at 9. That's a total of 26 ticks. And then while I was in this trade, when this hit its first target, that was 2 off at 4. Again, I had failed second entry long here. This is a new high. You get a pullback first entry, pullback second entry, again right off this trend line. Nice strong move down. Yeah, it's a lot of small bars, but the bars are failing to make higher highs. They continue to make lower highs, so we're definitely moving down. And that's why I ended up taking these trades the way I did and adjusting my profit target the way I did. So I had 2 contracts remaining in here. When I entered here, I adjusted those 2 profit targets to coincide with the first 2 contracts profit target for this trade. So this ended up being 2 off at 4, 2 off at 8 for a total of 26 ticks. This one ended up being normal profit target since I didn't take any additional entries off of this after this entry. So it was 2 off at 4, 1 at 6, 1 at 8 for a total of 22. So we had 26, 24, and 22 for a total of 72 ticks. So this series was a really good trade, and this pretty much concluded my trading day. I didn't really trade anything after that. So I did watch it for a little bit, and at that point, that's when I established that at least this here, we had some strong resistance going, and then I marked this as an entry because what we have here is we do finally get a breakout of this trend, and then we get a pullback, and then so it's a breakout pullback, and then it goes long. So I took this in. I didn't take this entry long. I marked this as an entry long that would have worked just fine. And if you had runners, they would have all hit their profit targets without any issue. And then when we get this price action up here, that's when I establish the top of the trading range. So we are looking like we're trading within a trading range, and you know, you could play the rest of the day with like that. One thing I did notice is that in addition, we were in a channel at the same point, a downward channel. The channel really helps you, not so much for these 2 entries or even this entry, but more for this entry right here. This is where the channel helps you, and then down here. So you are in a downward channel. You've got lower highs. So you got a high, you got a lower high, a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then this does make a lower low, but then you got a higher low. So this is why I thought we had a midline, and that's why I drew this midline in here. We were getting a little bit of resistance somewhere in the middle of the channel. So that's how it looked to me. And because you are in a trading range, even though you are channeling down, I don't typically look for longs when we're trending downward, but because this is more of a trading range day, you can play both sides of the EMA and look for trades on both sides of the EMA, as long as you're keep sticking to your you know, support and resistance lines for your entry points. And that's why I marked up these that way. So so you got this trade up, you got basically a this is a failed second entry. Actually, no, it's not a failed second entry short. This one I marked because it was right off of the resistance line. So you get a fails to push up, you get a nice bearish bar. You could put an entry 1 tick below there, ridden it down. Even if you took it one tick below instead of at the low, um, if you had a 2 point stop, this never challenged your stop, so you could have added on here. This was this makes a new high from this high, but you get a nice strong bearish bar right there. When this starts going down, I would have, if I was still trading, I would have easily put an order one tick below there to enter short, just as it's breaking through that upper range, the upper level of the range, is I'm looking for it to go back down to the bottom here at that point. But like I said, at right around here, you pretty much have this trend, upper trend line established, and then from there you can copy and paste somewhere along the middle once you start seeing this price action to give you your midline, because you do get some support here. You get a little bit of support and then a little bit of resistance here, or some congestion here. So that kind of gives me confirmation that this line was definitely in play for a lot of this price action. So there was definitely some support and some resistance, which leads me to believe this was definitely a channel down with a midline. We come back to this upper level of the range, and at that point you had this upper trend line in play. You see it bounce off of there again. Just take it, put an order one tick below or right at the low there if you want. Take it down. Easily would have hit your profit targets, and then you would have had this midline established. So this gives you the trade up. You are a little bit away from the EMA. It is a second entry long off of this high. So you got a high, pull back first entry, pull back second entry. You get a nice bullish bar with a good follow through bar. So even if you put an order one tick above, after the close of this bar, you would have gotten in on a retrace. It would have taken you right up. Comes right back. This is where this trend line really helps you out. It helps you see this trade. So again, what I like to do is, when I see areas of resistance, I like to draw lines across the top of them. They may not hold, and that's fine, but sometimes it helps me see a trade that I would not have ordinarily taken because I didn't have this line drawn in place. So as the day goes on, these lines are constantly being adjusted to meet where the support and the resistance really is, so that it's helping me see the price action a little bit better. So again, you can enter one tick below here or right at the low, and this one takes it right down. We do get a lot of sideways action here, so I didn't put a trade here. Plus you've got a smaller trend going on right here, and that's the other thing that I wanted to point out is, with this trade here, even though it's not a second entry short, what you do have is you have a trend. You do have a close outside of that trend right down here, and it pulls back to make a new high and then goes short. That's what makes that trade, in addition to this trend line, really appealing. And like I said, had I been trading, I probably would have taken that without hesitation at all. And then you get your failed second entry long off of this high, first entry, pull back, second entry, fails, put an order right here, go down. So you could have entered here, added on here, and it would have been a really nice trade. Then you have your high. You have this high. You get a first entry. You got a pull back first entry, pull back second entry right off of this midline. you can take that up for at least a scalp, maybe a little bit more, and then you get a nice bearish reversal bar right going into the EMA. You could have taken that. That's a little bit more of an aggressive trade though. You do have enough room before you get to the midline to scalp out. So again, if you want to take that trade, that's again, it's a more aggressive, but because it's such a bearish, nice bearish reversal bar, you know, I probably would have taken that trade. The aggressive side of me would have kicked in and said, we're going back down. I'll let you know what led me to believe that we were actually going to be going lower. I'm going to show you something in just a minute here. This actually overshoots the midline, comes right back down to the lower part of the range, the trading range for the day. If you wanted to be aggressive, I suppose you could have taken a trade here. I didn't. Once it broke through the midline, I wouldn't have taken a long trade, only because I'm looking to come back down to the bottom of this trend line here, which you would have established, copied and pasted right when you got this price action here. So it's not confirmed. It doesn't actually confirm till here, but you can look for that as a target. The other thing is, and I'll show you, is we actually got a measured move. So if you look and you measure the price action from this high to this low, that's, and then you go from this high and you measure it, look where it takes you, literally to the tick. So that's that bottom, that bottom right there. So that's where your price action is looking to go. So when we didn't get the measured move up, and then I saw this move, I figured we would get a measured move down. It did take a while for it to meander its way down there, but it literally gives you right to the tick, measured move from this high. So this price action measurement is equal to this price action measurement from high to low. So that was another reason why I thought it would continue down, and you know, just further confirmation we were trading in a downward channel, even though we were spent most of the day inside of a trading range. But I forget where I left off now. So I guess I left off here. So you get this trade here is a second entry short. Again, you bounce off of this midline, you get a new high. It's first entry, second entry, breaks through. Oh, I already talked about that one. This I wouldn't have taken long, only because I'm looking to come down here, and then when you break through the bottom part of the range, you get that pullback and then a reversal bar. I would have just taken a short here, one tick below or right at the low of this bar, because you do get a pullback. You could have put an order right at the low of this bar and then gotten in on the move down. If you had been able to identify your measured move, you would have known this was kind of the target area at that point, because you did break out of that trading range. So it looks like we were actually going to go ahead and make that measured move. And then you got a bounce off of the lower trend line. It is a nice bullish reversal bar. Just put an order one tick above. That would have taken you at least for a scalp, if not more. typically what I do is when I scalp out first part of my position, I move to break even. So if you scalped out and moved to break even, you would have got hit on the remaining position, but it was good enough for a scalp. So definitely a good trade. You could have even put an order at the high of this bar right here. You would have gotten in on a retrace. And if it didn't get you in, you would have gotten in on this retrace and been able to go up. So either way, it would have worked. And then once it broke right back through the lower part of the range, this would have been a nice scalp for a breakout pullback and then take it up. And then you got a second entry long off of this trend line right here, off of this high. So you got a high first entry, pullback, high, pullback first entry, pullback second entry. You could easily set a target for the top of this trend channel. You do get an overshoot. And then you get a failed second entry long on the breakout, so it doesn't break out and it just bottom falls out of it. So you break out, you get a pullback first entry, pullback second entry, it fails. You can enter either at the low of this bar, or one tick below it, and you would have easily scalped out your position, if not gotten more. And you get a pullback to that upper trend line again. You get a high first entry long. I'm sorry, you get a high first entry, pullback second entry, fails, put an order right here, take it down, and that takes you into the pretty much the close of the day. I wouldn't have taken anything here or here because it's after 3 p.m. and I typically don't like to trade after that time. As you can see, price can be a little bit more whippy at this point, but these trades would have easily worked out for you. And then you come into the close, and that's really what I saw. So I know this was a long video, but I did want to kind of just go over how I look at trades and what I look for entries. I hope this made sense, but if you have any questions, any comments, go ahead and put them below. I'll be happy to answer them. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Twitter, TimeLord914, and you'll get notification anytime a video is posted. I'm going to try to do these a little bit more often. I don't always have the time, but it helps me because I learn a lot just by reviewing charts. It helps me become a better trader, and you know, if it helps anybody else out there, great. But that's what I got. That's what I saw. I hope everybody had a great day. Thanks for watching.